Asking Alexandria got into some hot water after their dog shit set during Warped Tour. And what naturally happened was people started comparing Danny Worsnop, the vocalist of the band, to their ex-vocalist Denis Stoff. Denis commented on the whole Asking Alexandria sounding like shit thing and revealed that the band still owes him $5 million. This is due to unpaid royalties or something from the Black album back in 2016, and apparently he's been reaching out since then to try to get his bread. But again, more on that in a bit. Because the reason why I want to talk about this is I think people are forgetting who Denis Stoff is. I'm not 100% sure if we should be trusting this guy because of his controversial past. With that being said, I decided to look back on the controversies to see, should we believe Denis or is he a lying sack? And I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I just finished writing the script and I completely forgot how insane his story is. But before anything, make sure you join the Discord, link in description. My community is filled with people like you who are into cool music and gaming. And how do I know you fuck with video games? I don't, all right? I'm just guessing. My gut is telling me you dabble here and there at least. What game is it? Tell me in the comments. Anyway, pretty much since the beginning of Asking Alexandria's life, Danny Worsnop has been a part of the band as the vocalist. I am ignoring the UAE era because I feel like after that is when the band truly started like doing their thing. And as you and I know, the band ended up blowing up because they were following the trend of blending metalcore with like electronic music elements, which is now known as crabcore. Now, 3 albums later, arguably well after the band's peak, Danny Worsnop decided to step away from the band. He left because he wanted to focus on hard rock, okay? He started a new band called We Are Harlot, and he had a solo project he was starting to do, which is country music. And that's the story we got. There was creative differences, so he dipped. The band is hanging out, right? The band is hanging out with their hands on their dicks because they're like, all right, we lost Danny. What do we do now? In comes Above 92. Also known as Denis Stoff. Now this was his YouTube channel. Above 92 was his channel, which all he really did was just upload covers of his favorite bands. For example, here we got The Devil Wears Prada, A Skylit Drive, Broadway, like basically shit that you would see in Warped Tour at the time. Here we got Of Mice and Men, but of course, the most important thing, this one, Asking Alexandria. He did a bunch of Asking Alexandria covers, and he did end up building an audience because of not only this, but he also had 2 bands prior to Asking Alexandria. He was in Make Me Famous, which was basically an Attack Attack clone, and Down and Dirty, which is a slightly heavier metalcore project. Out of curiosity, I decided to check out the Wayback Machine, and yeah, these covers, they did numbers, man. Okay, this is a screenshot from 2012, and it has almost 200,000 views on YouTube. So the guy, he was killing it. And why wouldn't he? Okay, he's a talented, cute emo boy from Ukraine. Now, once Danny left, Ben was on the search for a new vocalist, and again, because of Make Me Famous and Down and Dirty, and this in a combination of his YouTube channel, Ben ran into Denis, who I'm sure you can imagine would be the perfect fit, right? Again, he's handsome, he's talented, he knew most of the songs already because he would cover them so often. The guy was already a fan of the band, so he decided, yeah, why not? Let me hop on board. Now, here's when the issue comes to play, all right? A little spoiler for later in the video, but Ben actually got warned by other people in the industry about Denis, saying like, hey man, if I were you, I wouldn't hire him. So I guess Ben decided to ignore everything, including the reason why Make Me Famous has disbanded. It's because they kicked Denis out of the band. You can go ahead and pause whenever you feel like it. Go ahead and read whatever you want. But the TLDR is Make Me Famous accused Denis of acting like he was the only real member of the band, treating the rest of the guys like shit, taking extra money. Keep a note on that. Lying about writing all the music, and just refusing to help with normal band duties. They said he was disrespectful, hard to work with, and caused a lot of tension within the fellas. So after about 10 months of problems, they decided to give him the boot and just finish their tour without him. And the remaining fellas of the band decided, hey, we're just gonna start a new project without Denis. He's a piece of shit, and he ruined something that could have been great. Now, to be fair, I'm sure Ben knew, all right? Again, he got the people warned him and shit. I'm sure Ben knew, but he probably thought to himself like, dude, this was years ago, all right? He was a kid back then. I'm sure it was just like little kid drama. It doesn't mean shit. It's all dog shit. Don't worry about it. But the benefit of a doubt kind of bit him in the ass later. Now, again, I said to take note of something, right? And that was this bit right here. We were not appreciated for anything by Denis. He would take his frontman position in the band to his advantage. Check this out. He lied to the band's label and management in order to get paid more on royalties, payouts, and even daily band tour allowances. I don't know about you fellas, but that sounds a little interesting to me. More on that in a bit. Now we got the band and we got Denis. They team up, they collaborate to drop The Black. But literally after like a little more than a year, he ends up leaving the band. And he gave a pretty good reasoning, all right? He had to go back home to Ukraine because shit was getting chaotic and he wanted to be with his family. And mind you, this was years ago. Shit is worse now, but yeah, he just wanted to be with the family. But not everyone understood. They're like, yeah, dude, do your thing. Be with your family. However, Ben Bruce decided to go on Facebook Live and clear shit up. He basically said that Denis ended up ghosting the band when they had shit to do. They had to get to work, they had to write music, film a music video, X, Y, and Z. Everyone in the band hit up Denis, they're like, yo, it's good, and no one got a reply until a bit of time later. Bruce ended up getting a text from Denis that says, Asking Alexandria does not exist unless I get what's owed to me. Ben has no fucking idea what Denis is yapping about. But because of this, it actually caused the band to sit down and just rethink their existence as a unit. Like, should we keep moving forward as Asking Alexandria? Should we part ways? Why are we even doing this? But as we all know, they ultimately decided to move forward, push past this, and just keep continuing as a band. Now, I'm sure we can all take a fat guess of what Denis was referring to, which is money. Now, Ben did continue to Facebook Live and said some interesting shit. After a bunch of bad messages back and forth, he says that everything is fine between the band and Denis. This is when he revealed that people in the industry kind of told him like, yo, don't work with this guy, but he just learned the hard way. Then he ends the Denis conversation on a good note, saying, hey man, listen, shit got fucked up at the end, but while he was in the band, everything was fire, everything was cool, everything was dandy. Now, you'd think that this is when the Denis saga ends, but no, it continues, and it gets worse. The band ends up getting Danny Worsnop back. He took like basically a almost 2-year break and just re-entered the band, and something ended up happening that re-sparked the beef between Denis and the band. And the re-spark was due to plagiarism. Okay, so Asking Alexandria came back with Danny, with this Asking Alexandria self-titled album. And they released a song, which I don't know why it's not in my tabs, but they released a song, it was Alone in the Room. Now, keep in mind that this was their comeback album with Danny, okay? This was released in 2017. 2 years later, Denis decides to release a song of his own called Hollow by his new band, Drag Me Out. Now, if you look up this song, you may notice that it's a little difficult to find, not too difficult, but you'll see that it's not on any streaming platforms, including Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. And why is that? It's because it's literally the same song, okay? The same song released 2 years later in 2019. I wish I can show you, but I really want to avoid copyright, so go check it out for yourself after this video, but it's a one-to-one. It's literally the same exact instrumentals. So the band was forced to take the song down. Now, Denis's explanation for this is he wrote the instrumentals and decided to take the song with him after he departed with Asking Alexandria. But here's the thing, if he was planning to use it, why the fuck didn't he tell the band? Or like, hey man, I'm planning to use it, I wrote it, I'ma drop it. Because 2 years later, when he decides to drop it, it becomes this awkward mess. Like, the guy paid to get the song produced and recorded to not get shit back from it other than controversy. Now, Denis claims he never listened to Alone in the Room, so he had no idea that they used the instrumental. I call bullshit. I'm gonna call bullshit on that. But let's just say he's telling the truth, all right? Let's just assume that, yeah, he's telling the truth. He's never heard the song, but the thing is, now you're expecting me to believe not only did you not listen to the song, okay, that again was the comeback album with Danny in the band, so it was a big deal. It got millions of views on a music video, but also everyone on the Drag Me Out team. No one listened to this new single by Asking Alexandria. Get the fuck out of here. Moving forward, Drag Me Out decides to release a new single. Okay, it was called The Watch and Buried or some shit. And they released it with this super cool artwork. Okay, whether you like Denis or not, you gotta admit, pretty badass. It looks really sick, right? But let me show you something. Because this artwork is actually influenced heavily by a smaller artist named Maximi Tacardi. Dude, I know I butchered his name. I'm about to show you his Instagram in a second. For anyone that needs it, here is a full desktop screen share. This is the influence, okay? This is the influence they took from. This is the guy's Instagram. Go support him. Really cool shit. Actually, I'm gonna follow him. I'm not even logged in. I'll follow him later. Now, fellas, I don't know about you, but I see a little bit of similarities here. They literally stole the artwork and just mirrored it. Now, if you ask the band, they all claim that Denis approached them with this art piece and said he made it. Denis made this art piece. But if you ask Denis, he says that he bought this. He bought the album art from someone that wasn't Maximi. This was a hot mess. Denis already having a shit track record. He's just making everything worse for himself. Now, 5 years later, we fast forward to today. Everything went down with the whole album art thing in 2020. Why is Denis in the news, and should we believe anything he has to say? So again, Warped Tour DC happened, and they did this thing where they basically recorded like a handful of bands' live sets. It's like, I don't know if you guys seen like Coachella do it, where they live stream like the show, and you could watch it on Twitch, you could watch it on YouTube, whatever. And I know this specific video isn't the best quality, but they record everything in really good quality. And when we get to the Asking Alexandria set, it reveals that Danny Worsnop sounds like absolute dog shit. Now, I'm not going to cover this whole thing. I already spoke about it. But what I will say is people came out of the woodworks talking so much shit on Asking Alexandria and Danny. Rightfully so, because it was just a very lazy and dog shit vocal performance. He used like backing tracks and shit on top of that. But everyone said Asking Alexandria always sounded like shit. I personally don't think is true. But I digress. And I think it was inevitable for people to compare Danny to Denis. Despite his past controversies, he might not be the best of people, but he does sound really good. He's a very talented guy. I even have some of his older shit in my liked songs on Spotify, and he does sound really fucking good live. Like, I'll give it to him. But he decided to come out with a statement and fire a few shots. He's basically saying here that he's the better vocalist, laughing at Danny, saying that he'd never return to the band because he still owed around $5 million in unpaid royalties from like the Black album. He supposedly sent a ton of emails to, I guess, the band and their team regarding the $5 million for about 9 years now, to no reply. And he closes everything off by saying he was silent about this for a very long time and swept shit under the rug because he didn't want any public drama. But now, because of so much time passing and everything that's happened throughout these 9 years, he just can't hold back, fellas. He has to come forward with this absolute truth. No more biting my tongue. I am owed $5 million in royalties. Poor Denis, man. He's such a brave soul. I have so much respect for this guy. Thank you for coming out with this heartfelt story, Denis. I thank you so much. I condemn you for coming forward. Brother, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I don't even know if the Black made $5 million. I could be wrong. I don't know shit, but let's say he's telling the truth. His cut of the album profits and royalties or whatever is $5 million. Wouldn't that mean that the album would have to have made like at least 20 million or some absurd number like that? Obviously, contracts vary. Maybe it's not a 4-way split. Maybe it's like Denis gets the most out of the whole band, but we get more in X, Y, and Z because we're the OG members. Like, we don't know what the fucking contract was. But again, I doubt the Black made $5 million. I'm sorry. Like, I like Asking Alexandria. I do, but that's just hard to believe for me. Let me know if I'm not alone on this. I'm sure I'm not, but I gotta know what you guys think because of his past, I'm inclined to believe that he's just talking out of his urethra. He's talking out of his foreskin. I think he's just full of shit, all right? And speaking of shit, I think he's a sack of shit. I was rooting for him at first, but because of everything, it just really, it pisses me off that he's not the worst guy in the world, okay? Despite everything he did, he's just like an egotistical douchebag. He's not like out here killing people. By my knowledge, there's no SA, okay? There's a lot worse people in the scene. I just think he's a dickhead and he's really annoying. And again, I can't deny he's very, very talented, but it feels like he's trying to dogpile on Asking Alexandria. And again, they did sound like shit. But I feel like he's adding fuel to the fire coming out with this absurd statement, which, listen, maybe it's true. Maybe I'm talking out of my foreskin. Maybe he is owed $5 million and I don't know shit. it's not out of the realm of possibility. But like, if you check out his Instagram statement, he's just coming off as like, again, just a guy that's trying to dogpile and look guys, I'm the better vocalist, I'm better than Danny, and they owe me $5 million. The band is actually behind closed doors full of shit. I just feel like he's really trying to kick the band while he's down. Like in this Instagram statement, it's coming up here, but he actually included clips of him like playing with the band and Danny playing with the band to try to compare and being like, hey guys, see, I'm the better vocalist, I sound better than Danny, blah blah blah. But everyone knows that, right? Everyone like he's just adding that to, again, just dogpile to kick them while they're down. And I feel like he's just trying to just revive his irrelevant music career. This guy's a 33-year-old man acting like he's in fucking high school. And look, I know his Instagram is popping. I say irrelevant music career. On Instagram, he pulls numbers, bro. 22.1k likes, almost 9,000 likes here. I mean, that one kind of flopped 3k, right? Like, I don't mean to be like pocket watching. Okay, maybe I lied. These aren't as popping as you'd expect for someone with 300k followers on Instagram. But whatever, like I checked out his projects, right? Stoff, his personal project, not even 2,000 monthly listeners, okay? The Serpent's Tears, 1.1k. And then we have his juicer, Drag Me Out, with a whopping almost 28k. Now, these are numbers that a lot of bands will never see in their life. So good on him, all right? At least he has a project with almost 28k monthly listeners, right? But I think it's just telling of the downfall, the decline of his career. I just feel like he should worry about his own career rather than trying to ruin someone else's, okay? Your numbers not looking too great for being Denis fucking Stoff. I am more than positive if he was owed $5 million, he wouldn't he like want to hire lawyers? Wouldn't he want to hire like a legal team to get that 5 million instead of sending email after email after email for 9 fucking years? And on top of that, don't you think he would come out publicly with this a long time ago? I don't know, fellas. I'm just talking out of my ass. Let me know what you think. Like, sub, join the Discord, and click right here because yesterday we spoke about the PDF file that Ronnie Radke exposed. Oh, and click the join button. Become a member of the channel. XOXO.